What's up guys, Mikekorzemba here, and today we are going to be talking about lost NBA dynasties. Now, we all know those teams. They have all the talent in the world, but for some reason they're just not able to win an NBA championship. Maybe it's chemistry issues, maybe they just have some unclutch performances, or maybe they have horrible cocaine addictions that completely ruin their team. Yup, that's gonna be one of these teams. And on that note, let's jump into 7 teams that should have won multiple NBA championships. At number 7, the Oklahoma City Thunder. Remember this site? Yes, this is James Harden in an Oklahoma City Thunder jersey before he was traded. Look, we can talk about how Harden wasn't seen as a top 10 player in the NBA until after he went to Houston, or how the Thunder needed to trade him because they couldn't fit his salary into the cap, but those are just excuses. The fact of the matter is that the only time that Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook have played in the NBA Finals is when James Harden was on their team. Oklahoma City could have 3 of the top 10 players in the NBA for their entire primes. Instead, the James Harden trade will go down as one of the worst trades in NBA history. At number 6, the Portland Trailblazers. After the NBA and ABA merged, the NBA held a dispersal draft for all players who were not on teams after the merger. In this draft, the Trailblazers selected future MVP Moses Malone and Maurice Lucas. Feeling that they had drafted 2 players whose skill sets were too similar, they decided that they needed to trade one of them. Of course, they decided to trade Moses, sending him to Buffalo for a first-round pick. Now, the 1977 Blazers won the NBA championship without Moses. They then began the next season with a 50-10 record before Bill Walton hurt his foot and was never the same. With Moses, it's entirely possible that Walton plays less minutes and maybe avoids his massive foot injury. If that happened, then the Blazers could have possibly won multiple NBA championships. At number 5, the Detroit Pistons. This is probably the most controversial of all the teams on the list. In the 2003 NBA draft, the Pistons had the chance to take Carmelo Anthony. Instead, they took Darko Milicic, whose frosted tips were never able to contribute on the court. Assuming the Pistons draft Melo and still make the Rasheed deal, and assuming that Melo is able to gel with the Detroit vets and Larry Brown, the Pistons had a chance to win 3 NBA titles instead of 1. At number 4, the Phoenix Suns. The Suns messed up building a dynasty around Steve Nash so badly that there is a 99.8% chance I make a video where I correct all of their mistakes. Without having to go into too much detail, the Suns screwed up royally due to the cheapness of their owner, Robert Sarver. They traded away multiple draft picks for money, and also let Joe Johnson sign with the Atlanta Hawks when he was a restricted free agent. To put all of this into perspective, the Suns made the Western Conference Finals in 2005 and then let Joe Johnson, a 24-year-old future All-Star and core piece of their team, go to Atlanta when they could have just matched the Hawks' offer. If the Suns were willing to spend some money, they could have kept Joe Johnson and kept their 2004 first-round pick, where Andre Iguodala was available, which means the Suns could have had a core of Steve Nash, Andre Iguodala, Joe Johnson, Shawn Marion, and Amari Stoudemire, a lineup that looks like it would have won at least 1 NBA championship, and at the very least, they certainly would have been one of the most fun teams to watch of all time. At number 3, the Houston Rockets. In 1986, the Houston Rockets destroyed the defending champion Los Angeles Lakers in the Western Conference Finals, winning the series 4-1 behind Hakeem Olajuwon and Ralph Sampson while announcing to the world that there was a new power in the NBA. Except, something went wrong. The next season, Lewis Lloyd and Mitchell Wiggins were suspended by the NBA for using cocaine. John Lucas was traded to Milwaukee, and Ralph Sampson began to slow down due to a previous back injury at the old Boston Garden. The injury eventually got so bad that the Rockets were forced to trade Sampson to Golden State in 1988, ending any potential dynasty talks. And so, because of drugs and injuries, the Rockets went from making the NBA Finals in 1986 to not advancing past the second round until the 1994 season. Meanwhile, the same Lakers team that they had beaten so convincingly in 1986 went on to win 2 more championships together. Take away Sampson's injury, take away some massive cocaine addictions, and the Rockets have the potential to win at least 2 more NBA championships. In Hakeem Olajuwon's biography, he stated that the Rockets could have traded Ralph Sampson before the 1984 draft for the number 2 pick and Clyde Drexler. Now this would have left the Rockets with Clyde Drexler, Michael Jordan, and Hakeem Olajuwon, which is crazy, right?
At number 2, the Los Angeles Lakers. Nowadays, Kobe and Shaq love to downplay just how much they hated each other during their playing days. Don't be fooled. The bad feelings were very real. What's scary about their situation is that even though the two of them did not like each other, they were still able to put aside their differences and win 3 championships together. It's very possible that if one of them was willing to take a back seat, the Lakers could have won 3 more championships and gone down as the greatest dynasty of all time in the modern NBA. I guess instead, we'll have to settle for a sweet Shaq diss rap as a consolation.
Okay, Kobe, tell me how my ass tastes.
And at number 1, the Orlando Magic. Now, everyone always talks about how Shaq and Kobe could have won even more championships together if they could just get along. What they forget is that Shaq and Penny were fighting behind the scenes before Kobe was even in the league, which was a shame because at their best, the duo of Shaq and Penny was good enough to lead the Orlando Magic to the 1995 NBA Finals, handing Jordan his last playoff series loss for the Bulls in the process. Built around young Shaq, who was a dominant freak in the low post, and young Penny, who was an athletic playmaker and a first-team All-NBA guard, the Magic seem loaded for the future. Throw in a solid third scorer in Nick Anderson and a great role player in Horace Grant, and multiple NBA championships seemed like a certainty. So, what happened? Well, in Game 1 of the 1995 NBA Finals, Nick Anderson missed 4 straight free throws and was never the same. Meanwhile, Shaq and Penny decided Orlando only had room for 1 alpha dog, and a power struggle ensued, which ultimately resulted in Shaq signing with the Lakers. Again, everyone remembers Kobe and Shaq, but at least they won 3 championships. Penny and Shaq could have been just as great if only things worked out a little differently.
And so there you have it. 7 teams that should have won multiple NBA championships. Now, these teams did have all the potential in the world, but that's just what happens in the NBA. If you're not ready to fulfill your potential, another team is waiting to just steal that championship from you, which is honestly great. That's why I love basketball. And I just want to say thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this type of content, make sure to subscribe. I do a ton of NBA videos, some like this, some conspiracy videos, some what if videos. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on. And other than that, thank you guys for watching and have a great day.